No one knew who he was until the day someone walked in and called him Captain. Every morning at exactly 8 a.m., the door would chime. Not 7:59, not 8:01, 8 on the dot. And he'd step in. Same coat, same cap, same quiet presence. Always alone. Always to the same seat. Second table to the right, back corner, facing the door. He never sat with his back to the entrance. Ever. Some said it was just a habit. Some joked he must have been paranoid. Baristas gave him a nickname, the Watchman. But no one ever asked his real name. He didn't seem like the kind of man who wanted questions. He ordered the same thing every time. Black coffee, no sugar, never asked for a refill, never stayed longer than 40 minutes. He just sat there, watching. Not with suspicion, but with stillness. Like someone who had watched so many entrances in his life. It had become a part of him. I started working at that cafe 2 years ago. I was 19, a college dropout, aimless, just looking for a paycheck. And like everyone else, I noticed him on my first day. He nodded when I brought his cup. Not a smile, not a word, just a nod. And somehow, that was enough. There was something in the way he sat. Back straight, hands resting on the table, eyes never wandering too far from the door. The manager once said, "Don't bug him. He's been coming here since before I took over. He doesn't like noise." So I never did. But every morning I found myself watching him out of the corner of my eye. He never pulled out a phone, never brought a book, just sat. Like time moved differently for him. One day, a new girl, Sarah, decided to make small talk. "Good morning, sir. Busy day ahead?" He looked at her, not rude, not annoyed, but with a kind of quiet that pressed on your chest. She never spoke to him again. Then one morning, everything changed. The door chimed. He stepped in, like always. Sat, like always. But this time, another man came in behind him. Younger, mid-40s, strong build, wearing a jacket with a faded patch on the shoulder. He froze. The moment he saw the old man, he stopped moving. Then, slowly, deliberately, he walked over to the table, stood in front of him, and said nothing. The old man looked up, expression unchanged, and the younger man straightened his posture. Then it happened. He raised his hand, a crisp, flawless salute. And with a voice just above a whisper, he said, "Good morning, Captain." The cafe went still. I stopped mid-pour. The espresso machine hissed in the silence. Everyone was watching. The old man returned the salute. Barely emotion, but unmistakable. And for the first time in 2 years, I saw something shift in his face. A flicker of something like pride or pain. But then, just as quickly, it was gone. The man who had saluted, he didn't sit down. He simply nodded once more and left. No words, no questions, just a salute and silence. The rest of the cafe stayed quiet for a while after. Something had changed. The regulars went back to their phones and laptops, pretending not to care. But I couldn't. After the rush slowed down, I walked over to clean his table like always. Except this time, there was something under the cup. A thin, worn envelope. No name, no return address. Just a single word on the front. Read. I hesitated. Looked around. Was it for me? Was I being paranoid? I slid the envelope into my apron pocket. That night I sat on my apartment floor, legs crossed like a kid in trouble, the envelope in front of me. I opened it. Inside, a photocopied military document, redacted names and codes. But one line stood out. Operative, DRS Clearance Alpha Black, ADAWAL, classified. Another sheet, a photograph. 4 men in desert fatigues, arms around each other, all smiling. Except the man on the far right. He wasn't smiling. But his eyes, they said everything. It was him. The old man from the cafe, maybe 30 years younger, but it was him. There was no mistake. On the back of the photo, someone had scribbled, "One of us didn't make it. One of us never came home. And one of us never left the war." The words hit me harder than I expected. I sat there, just staring at that line over and over. What did that mean? Who wrote it? Was he the one who never came home? Or the one who never left the war? The next morning, he wasn't there. For the first time since I started working at the cafe, 8 a.m. came and went, and the door didn't open. The chair sat empty. His coffee wasn't made. The regulars noticed, but no one said anything. I waited all morning. By noon, I knew something was wrong. At 2:15 p.m., the door finally opened. But it wasn't him. It was a woman, late 60s, strong posture, sharp eyes. She came up to the counter and asked for me by name. "I believe you found something," she said softly. I blinked. "You mean the—" "Yes," she interrupted. "The envelope, the photo, the file dot," I nodded. She placed a folded piece of paper on the counter. "You should read this too, but not here." She walked out before I could ask anything else. That night, I unfolded the paper. It was handwritten, 3 pages, signed, DRS. It wasn't a letter. It was a confession. He had carried something. Not guilt, responsibility, not shame, memory. The kind you don't talk about in public. The kind you watch every door for. The next morning, I came in early. Before the ovens were warm, before the milk was steamed. Just me, the dark, and that empty chair. I placed a black coffee at his usual seat anyway. No one told me to. I just did it. 8 a.m. came. The door didn't open. 8:01, 8:02. Still, nothing. At 8:03, the bell finally chimed. I looked up, but it wasn't him. It was the woman again, the one from the day before. She walked over slowly, her heels quiet on the tiled floor. She didn't look at the counter. She went straight to his seat and sat down. Something about the way she did it, calm, deliberate, like she'd done it before, made the entire cafe hush again. I brought the coffee over. She looked up. "He passed last night," she said gently. "He always said, if he didn't show up one day, someone should tell the kid." The kid, me. I didn't know what to say. My throat locked up. All I could do was nod, just like he used to. She placed a worn box on the table. It looked old, military green, scuffed edges, heavy. "He wanted you to have this," she said. "Only if you ever asked why he always faced the door." I sat down across from her. She pushed the box forward. I opened it. Inside, a single photo, the same as before. A folded flag and a challenge coin. But not just any coin. It was blackened on one side, the emblem barely visible, the kind of coin you don't earn, the kind you're given when you come home without everyone you left with. She spoke again, eyes soft. "He lost 2 brothers in a mission gone sideways. He blamed himself for the one who didn't make it. He never sat with his back to any door again." I stared at the coin in my hand. It was heavier than it looked. It felt like it hummed. I asked him once why he never told his story, she added. He said, "Because the ones who need to know already do." She smiled for the first time. "And now, you're one of them." She stood up, placed a few dollars next to the cup exact change, and left. I never saw her again, but I kept the box. And every morning after that, I put out a black coffee at that corner seat. Same time, same place, facing the door. No one ever sat there again. No one dared. He never said goodbye. Not with words, not with a wave, He just didn't come in one day, and yet it felt like he had never left. People noticed, even the ones who never spoke to him. The regulars started whispering, "The old guy, haven't seen him in a while. Always sat by the window, right? Did something happen?" I never answered, not with facts. I started doing something else instead. Every morning I placed a black coffee at his seat. No one touched it. No one questioned it. Then one day, someone left a note beside the cup. We remembered. After that, it became a ritual. Notes, coins, folded napkins with initials. Even a small medal one day. People didn't know his name, but they remembered the silence, the presence, the respect he carried without ever asking for it. Months passed. The table stayed untouched. Eventually, the manager replaced the old plaque above the counter. He never explained it, just drilled it in one morning. It read, "In honor of those who watch the door, so the rest of us don't have to." One afternoon, a man in uniform walked in. Army, maybe Navy, I couldn't tell. He looked around, spotted the seat, paused. He approached me at the register. "Was this his place?" he asked. I didn't need to ask who he meant. "Yes," I said. "Every morning, 8 sharp." The man took off his cap, held it to his chest, and nodded. Before he left, he walked over to the seat and saluted, just like the first man had, months ago. Like a final relay passed quietly, hand to hand, soul to soul. I never knew his full name, never heard him laugh, never saw him angry. But I knew more about him than some people know about their own fathers, because silence speaks. And some men, the real ones, they don't shout their stories. They carry them. Maybe you've seen someone like him, at a diner, at a park, at a train station. Quiet, still, always watching the door. If you have, don't interrupt them. Don't ask. Just remember, because some heroes never ask for thanks. They just sit and make sure the world stays the way it's supposed to for the rest of us. And when they're gone, they don't leave behind noise. They leave behind silence.